Hello students, I am back with the RNA metabolism. In the last class we learned about the prokaryotic RNA metabolism. This is the time for eukaryotic RNA metabolism. So basically there is the process of eukaryotic and prokaryotic transcription are more or less same, only in case of multicellular organism the process is a bit complex. There are many differences along with similarities. Now, the major difference is that in case of eukaryotic transcription, the RNA polymerase are of three different types instead of one single RNA polymerase which acts in prokaryotic transcription. Again, in eukaryotic transcription, there are three different RNA polymerase as you can see. The polymerase 1 is responsible for rRNA synthesis. This is the precursor for 18S, 5.8S and 28S rRNA. RNA polymerase 2 is responsible for synthesis of mRNA, and the polymerase 3 which is responsible for tRNA synthesis and 5S rRNA. So, the subunits of rRNA, that is 18S, 5.8S and 28S rRNA are synthesized by polymerase 1, and the 5S rRNA is synthesized by RNA polymerase 3. Now, this RNA polymerase 2, as you can see, it synthesizes mRNA and it is the central to the transcription because it is finally leading to synthesis of protein. Now, this RNA polymerase 2 is definitely a more complex one than the bacterial counterpart. It's a large protein with 12 different subunits, where the two large subunits are similar to beta and beta dash subunit of the prokaryotic RNA polymerase. In this eukaryotic RNA polymerase 2, there is one C-terminal domain where phosphorylation occurs, and this phosphorylation is the precursor, is the signal for polymerase 2 activation. So basically this is the covalent modification or phosphorylation and dephosphorylation of the enzyme which triggers the activation and deactivation of RNA polymerase 2 in eukaryotes. Coming to the eukaryotic transcription process, the process is divided in three phases, and those three phases are similar with the prokaryotics, that is initiation, elongation and termination. Now, this initiation phase, it carries the major difference with the prokaryotes in terms of complexity. Now, let's see, definitely the prokaryotic transcription, like the prokaryotic transcription, eukaryotic one is also starts in the promoter sequence, but that promoter sequence is a complex sequence. Let's see. So, this promoter sequence are having different types of regulatory element. These regulatory element, they signals where the transcription will start, how frequently the transcription will start in that region, and how the transcription process can be regulated by different types of physiological or pathological stimuli or factors. So, this promoter sequence can be modulated. The speed, the quality, the activity can be modulated by different types of regulatory element. Next, the initiation signal. The signal proper are of three types. As you can see, there is Tata box. In case of eukaryote, that Tata box is known as the Hogness box. The sequence is upstream to the start, upstream to the transcription start region. It's -25 to -30 base pair upstream to the start of transcription. Initiator sequence, it is located -3 to +5 region, and downstream promoter element, that is located downstream, that is +25 base pair from the initiation start side. Now, these three types of initiation signal in around 15% of the eukaryotic organism, all these three initiation signals are present, whereas others are having either one or two of these three. Now, there are another type of promoter sequence, that is frequency signal. This frequency signal, it gives signal how frequently the transcription can start in the region, and those are GC box and CAT box. Now see, by the name it is quite evident that these in this GC box the G and C are prominent, and in CAT box C, A and T, they are present in major quantity. Next is enhancer silencer sequence. Now this is very important. By the name it is quite clear to you that the enhancer signals, they enhance the speed of transcription, and silencers, they decrease or stop the transcription. These signals are important regions where different regulatory elements bind, and they modulate the transcription, they regulate the speed of transcription. Now apart from these, another difference from prokaryotic transcription is the presence of basal or general transcription factors. There are multiple general transcription factors present in eukaryotic transcription. These factors, they interact with the RNA polymerase and they bind in specific regions of DNA, template DNA strand, and identifies the promoter site. Now these are also responsible for their quality, in fact are responsible for the speed and quality of transcription. Now after the promoter site is identified by this general transcription factor, these factors along with RNA polymerase II, they form a pre-initiation complex. Now this complex is similar with the sigma factor in the prokaryotic transcription. This formation of pre-initiation complex in the specific region signals for the site where the transcription can be started. And finally, there are few core promoter elements to the polymerase II which helps in transcription. So this is all about the initiation of eukaryotic transcription. They are different, this process is different with prokaryotic transcription in terms of complexity in promoter sequence, where there are 3 different types of promoter signals, and this eukaryotic transcription, it has different general transcription factor which helps in identification of the promoter site as well as continuation of the initiation phase. Now coming to the elongation, in eukaryotic elongation of transcription, there are multiple elongation factors as well. There are few examples, as you can see, ELL, elongin, these are the examples of elongation factor. These helps in elongation of the mRNA chain. Now chemically the process is just same with the prokaryotic transcription. If you remember, addition of different nucleotides along with formation of the phosphodiester bond which elongates the mRNA chain, but definitely the eukaryotic mRNA is longer, so it takes time. So the process is a bit slower. Termination is associated with the polyadenylation of 3' end, and there is a consensus sequence that is AAU, AAA. This is the consensus sequence which again signals for eukaryotic transcription termination. And finally, as I told you that RNA polymerase II, the activity is dependent on phosphorylation and dephosphorylation. Phosphorylation has activated the RNA polymerase II, whereas dephosphorylation, it helps in deactivation of RNA polymerase II, which again signals for termination of the eukaryotic transcription process. Post-transcriptional modification, it carries major importance in eukaryotes. Basically, the product of transcription, whatever it is, that is mRNA, rRNA, tRNA, they all are modified in different places, and that modifications carry different important significance in their function. So let's see what post-transcriptional modifications mRNA is having basically. So in mRNA, there are 3 different types of post-transcriptional modification. One is 5' capping. Next is polyadenylation in the tail, and finally splicing. These three major post-transcriptional modifications are there in the eukaryotes. Let's see what happens in 5' capping. So basically there is addition of one cap in the 5' end of nascent mRNA, and what that cap is comprises of, see, that is one methyl GTP cap. So basically a molecule of 7-methyl GTP is attached in the 5' end with the help of the enzyme guanylyl transferase. That GTP is attached by guanylyl transferase and the methyl group is donated by S-adenosyl methionine. This is the common one. Now, what is the importance of having this 5' cap? See, the mRNA basically is synthesized inside the nucleus. Now, that mRNA is transported from nucleus to the cytoplasm for translation. It is basically required for protein synthesis, and translation occurs in the cytoplasm. So, that nascent mRNA must come outside from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. Now, while coming to the cytoplasm, that is one adverse environment for the mRNA, where the mRNA can be digested by different types of exonucleases. So, one end of the mRNA, that is the 5' end, is protected by this cap, this 7-methyl GTP cap, which guard the 5' end. So, mRNA basically is protected by this cap from different exonucleases. It also helps in transport of mRNA from nucleus to cytoplasm, and finally it helps in interaction with different translation factors required for protein synthesis. So these are the three important functions of 5' capping in case of eukaryotic mRNA. Now let's see what happens in poly A tailing. So basically in poly A tailing, in the tail end, that is in the 3' end, there is multiple adenosine molecules are attached. So that is around 80 to 250 adenosine molecules which are attached, and that is done by polyadenylate polymerase enzyme. The enzyme here is polyadenylate polymerase, and definitely this poly A tailing as well, it is also protecting the mRNA from the exonuclease function in the 3' end. So it helps in mRNA stabilization in the cytoplasm. Now let's see what happens in splicing. So splicing is one of the most important post-transcriptional modification in mRNA. Now this mRNA, it is evident that it is required for protein synthesis. So the sequence will be transcribed in the, will be translated in the protein. Now there are few regions which are responsible for carrying the genetic code to the proteins, whereas few regions which are non-coding region. So the coding region, that is our exon, and the non-coding region, those are introns. Now the function of splicing is to remove this intron portion and attaching the residual exon portion. So let's see the different post-transcriptional modification. See, so basically in the nascent mRNA, these are the regions which are coding regions, and these are the regions, these introns are the non-coding region. Now let's see what happens in splicing. See, these are the introns which are removed, and finally the exons are attached which are devoid of the non-coding regions. Along with that, see, you can see there are attachment of GTP molecule, in the 5' end, that is the 5' cap, and a poly A tail is attached in the 3' end. So these three are the important post-transcriptional modification in eukaryotes. So let's recapitulate the Eukaryotic transcription, the process is more or less similar with the prokaryotic one, with a bit complexity in the region of initiation. In the initiation phase, there are multiple basal or general transcription factor. The promoter sequences are of 3 different types. They are having initiation signals, frequency signal, and enhancer and silencer signal. Those are important for regulating the speed of transcription. RNA polymerase, that is one important difference with the prokaryotes, that in case of prokaryotic transcription, there is one single RNA polymerase which is doing all the activities in transcription, whereas in eukaryotes there are 3 different types of RNA polymerases and they are synthesizing different types of RNAs in eukaryotes. And RNA polymerase 2, you need to know the specific activity of RNA polymerase 2, that it is synthesizing the mRNA and it is a large molecule with multiple subunits. It's a multi subunit enzyme which is activated by phosphorylation and deactivated by dephosphorylation. There is formation of one pre-initiation complex which signals for the start of transcription as it identifies the promoter site. Elongation and termination are more or less similar, only in case of elongation of eukaryotes there are different elongation factors, and termination is done by one consensus signal which indicates the termination of eukaryotic transcription, and that is helped by deactivation of RNA polymerase 2. Finally, that nascent mRNA is modified by post-transcriptional processing. What are the processing mechanisms? That is addition of a cap in the 5' end. The cap comprises of 7-methyl GTP, a tail in the 3' end, that is poly A tail, and splicing, that is removal of the non-coding regions, that is introns, and addition or joining of the exons or the coding region, which finally goes for the protein synthesis. So that's all of eukaryotic transcription. Go through the eukaryotic and prokaryotic transcription both. In the next class, I will talk about few newer mechanisms which also helps in eukaryotic processing. Thank you.